In the 2025 NBA playoffs, Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves sent home the Lakers and Luka Doncic.
Three-pointer, puts it in. Anthony Edwards.
And just a year prior, Luka exploded for monster performances that led to a reconstruction of Minnesota's roster.
Doncic maneuvers for the lead. Got it. What a shot.
This elite level of skill both players possess make them high impact players for their teams. And I want to ask you something, who would you rather build around? Before you shout out an answer, we need to dive deep into their skill, their impact, and versatility. On one end, you have Luka Doncic, who will manipulate the defense in such ways that almost makes you think he's doing magic. When he uses these ball screens, it makes the backline defenders start shifting into position so they can stop the roll, but this is where you have to think 2 steps ahead instead of just 1, because Doncic will use every inch you move against yourself. With Luka not telegraphing his pass, this makes Jordan Clarkson have to choose between Rui and Finney-Smith to close out on, and right here is where I want you to see all the options Luka has now created. If Finney-Smith wanted to, he could attack the closeout or shoot the rock, but he instead swings it to Rui. Rui can now swing this to Reeves for a shot, but now with the defense biting on every move in rotation, Rui can fake the swing to attack the basket. He now has an opportunity to lob it up also, but he instead goes to finish. This here shows you a glimpse into how Luka can influence the game even if the assist isn't directly from him. But then on the other side of things, you have Ant, who is this high intensity player who will all out break defenders with his crafty playstyle. At any given time during the play, Ant can shift a defender with his smooth handle to create a look on the floor. And right now, this could be money, as Edwards knocked down 39% of his 10 threes taken per game last season, but instead, he used that burst of speed to attack right at the defense, making it look too easy. When you watch these two, you sense a little bit of shift of energy when you see how they operate on the floor. With Luka Doncic, the game slows down, not because he's slow or unathletic and all these things people like to say about him. It's simply because he makes everyone play at his speed. Unlike a lot of players in the league, Luka is the conductor. In the defense, well, they're his orchestra. When Luka is serving his moves to the defense, he's setting up his next one without the defender even realizing it. And this is what puts them in a world of trouble. When getting the switch on the AD off this screen, Luka used the crossover to get the step on Davis, and at this point, he could potentially attack the basket. This here puts it in AD's mind to hustle back to get in front, but all that does is make him vulnerable to a step back, and this one right here is straight cash. Just as Luka mixed up the defense on that play, we've seen Ant do it earlier to get into a drive, but this time when he snatches back, he can see a clear lane to aggressively pursue, and man oh man, this is when things get nasty. Yeah, it's a major difference in getting points on the board, but let's just stay with Luka for a second and then shift back over to Ant. Now the step back into the jumper was nice, and honestly, if he wants to add some flair to these shots, he certainly can, as he spins off James Harden right into a step back that gets the crowd rocking. A lot of these big moment shots we see from Luka come from him just being comfortable to score from anywhere on the floor, and I know it may seem like it's easy, but that's just how good Doncic is. Guys will try and guard him close to make things uncomfortable, but with his calculated moves, all it takes is one crossover to get you off balance, and here's where he can get to his spot, give you a bump to show you he's fine with the contact, and then spin off to nail the bucket. If it's not the mid-air from deep range where Luka is torching the defense, well, he can take his time to back a defender to then either fade out the post for a bucket over the top, or if he'd rather go inside to eat rather than get takeout, he can use his body to lean on defenders to gain leverage, and when that price is right, the spin is just ice. This ability to dissect the defense in many ways is what leads to him being such a hard cover, because just when you think he's shown you all the ways he can score the ball, that's when Luka will spin out the post up when getting the pass, body into the defender to get into a step back, and then once the defender bites, that's when he steps through to lay it in at the buzzer.
It's Luka steps under the defense to beat the buzzer.
Some might call it luck, but I simply call it manipulation, because Doncic understands how to use the defender's movements against themselves to a T, and this really shows up in his passing, which I believe is his most important skill set. Whether it's a fast break find up the court with pinpoint accuracy, a dime in the half court through traffic, or a lob that just looks ridiculous, Luka can feed his teammates in all imaginable ways. When you look at it, it may seem like a simple thing to do, but there's only a couple guys in the league who are truly a threat 90 feet away from the basket, as once Doncic catches the ball, he's already looking up the floor to scan the situation, so once he sees his intended target, he puts it right on the plate for them to go eat.
Oh, what a pass! Doncic, perfection there.
This fast break connection flows right into his half-court game, as although it may be a tighter window to get it through, Luka can fake out the defense to then softly send this back over the top to Hayes. And with defenses committing a lot of attention to him, he can make the weak side defender pick their poison, as Doncic can send this pass over to the corner, so that's why you see Buddy Hield hesitant to step all the way in, but this here is something you can't do when Luka has the ball. As you can see, Luka is a very versatile player who can either set up teammates to make them succeed or create his own look on the floor from wherever he chooses. This all comes at a methodical pace, which some people like to call boring and slow, and hey, for all of you that think that, I'm sure you love it when Ant gets going off the screen, and well, here you go.
Drives inside and throws it down and a foul.
Edwards is this guy who pushes the game to the edge, forces defenders into panic, and loves big moments. It's hard not to like a guy who will take it at anyone who stands in front of him, plays with such confidence, and on any given night can give you a highlight moment. It may look like a routine handoff action for Ant to come off to attack, but soon enough you'll find out it's way more than that. It's really not many times you can just get comfortable and relaxed when guarding Ant, because his bag is so smooth that he'll slice past you with no friction, and before you know it, 2 more points are added to the scoreboard. I know a lot of people are accustomed to Ant being a high flyer, but honestly, he's polished his footwork to the point where he can evade sticky situations. For an example, when Ant attacks the closeout here, he has Keegan Murray standing right in front of him in the paint. Now he could go up and try and get the contact bucket, but that would be the more difficult route. So here's where that footwork comes in handy, with Ant serving that Euro for the reverse lay. This small detail of skill is what separates good slashers from great ones, because there will be many times where defenders will try to cut you off or just clog the areas where you want to drive, and this is where it's extremely important that you're able to navigate in a quick but effective manner. For Edwards, this is one of the sharpest things about his game. If the defense attempts to blitz him when he comes off the screen, he'll split right through it like he's a running back to then Euro his way into an and one.
Down the lane, count it, and put him on the line.
If it's not the Euro step, he'll order the in and out burger for you so you stop bothering him. And just when you've gotten fed up and throw a tight double at him, he'll change directions while ripping through with that low carry, and although the ball gets lost on the foul, he regains it mid-stride to get the bucket plus 1 more at the line. When it comes to this inside scoring stuff, Ant is someone you have to bring up. And even more than that, you can't leave him out the conversation when we talk about high-level snipers. With Edwards being 24 years old, we've already seen him upgrade his game massively in a short period of time, and that starts with his major improvement when it comes to shooting from deep. At first it was like Edwards was this slasher who could also get creative with his shot at times, and yes, I kinda still agree with that when it comes to his mid-range game. But when it comes to time to talk about his 3-point shooting, it's just as good as his driving. Whether it's him moving off ball to then fire it off the catch, immediately letting it fly when coming off a screen, or if he's digging deep into that bag to make defenders look silly before pulling up, this is somewhere where defenses have to be on their toes at all times or else they will be in for a very long night. This offense of Edwards is highly intense and can be intimidating to a lot of defenders, simply for the fact that he won't stop coming at you, and at any moment you could be put on a poster or get sauced up with that handle before a bucket. Yeah, I know, this already sounds like a lot to deal with, and you're correct. But let's not forget that with that intense playstyle, it doesn't just stop on one end. As when Ant does lock in on defense, he can not only sit down to make it tough to then poke the ball out, as he can also hawk you down when the fast break is underway, and off the glass is how this gets destroyed. This aspect of his game is something that still hasn't fully been activated, because there are times where Ant falls asleep or can be disengaged, but when you see how much he can impact the floor defensively when he actually tries, that's when things start to look a little scary. With Edwards, you get that raw explosion, a player who can flip a game on his head in a single stretch and can lock down your best defender if you ask him. With Luka, you get a proven floor raiser, a superstar who can control every possession and dismantle defenses without breaking a sweat. Both can get you wins, both can lead a franchise for the next decade, but if you were to build your dream team, who would you build around? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so you're first to know when I upload. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.